Welcome to Theater Crafts. I am so glad you're here with me today. So today we're going to make paper bead earrings. So we're going to make these paper beads and then we're going to turn those into earrings. So look at this. This is Lion King. So those beads, the yellow beads there, were made from copy paper and then colored, and I added an image right onto it. Now, you don't have to do musical theater images. I happen to do musical theater images. You could do any kind of image you want. These are the 6 queens from the musical 6. How awesome is that? All right, we've got a playbill set of earrings. Isn't that cool? We've got, this is Elphaba and Glinda from Wicked. And again, those are right from playbills. And then these are the ones we're going to make today. These are from Les Mis. Isn't that cool? So today we're going to make paper bead earrings. All right, let's get crafting. All right, let's take a closer look at these earrings. So here you see I've got playbill earrings, and these are just paper. They're all paper with some beads to embellish. These are from images from 6. You can see all 6 of the queens in the beads here. There are 3 and 3, and I added some rhinestones just to make that a little bit more special. Here we have Glinda and Elphaba in this set of earrings in a Wicked inspired set. And here we have a Lion King inspired set of earrings. I just think they're really fun. You can do them with any sort of images. Of course, I am a theater person, so I do theater images, but they could be flowers, they could be, anything that inspires you. So let me clear this and I'll show you what we need to make these. Okay, so first you need your images, and I actually found most of my images right in playbills. So we're actually going to do this one today. We're going to do the Les Mis, but if you find small images in playbills, that would be a really great use of kind of the small, what would be kind of trash, honestly. You could take images there, but like I said, it could be anything. We've got the right here. That's what I took for the Wicked inspiration, but you could take anything. There's Lion King right there. You could do that. So we're going to do the Les Mis. You're going to need this is just white copy paper. I cut them into 1-inch strips. The playbills had to be a little bit longer because the word playbill was a little bit longer, so I just kind of gauged it depending on the size of the image. I did 1-inch strips, and we're going to roll them, and I'll show you how we're going to do that. You're going to need school glue to put that together. You need scissors, obviously, to cut them. We're going to need some Mod Podge, and that's to get the images onto the bead. You can use resin and a UV light if you want to make them nice and shiny. I did for mine, but you don't need to. You could just use the Mod Podge. You can see how shiny those are. That would be an option. I used acrylic markers just to color the edges of the beads. You're going to need some jewelry pliers here for making, attaching the beads, and then some jewelry findings, totally whatever you've got. I happen to have these in my stash, and so I'm going to use these, but I'll get into that a little bit more later. All right, well, let's get started. So as I said, I have a 1-inch piece of paper here. I cut it based on the, the long way. And basically you're just going to take, I used a skewer. You don't need to use a skewer. I just found it was easier to use a skewer. And then I just kind of start rolling a little bit, and it kind of trains the paper to go in that direction, you'll see. And I'm going to start now. I found that it was easier for me to just push it right up against the counter here and roll it. Now if it gets, you're going to see it's kind of going off center there. Don't worry about that. We can fix that afterwards. So you're just going to roll it. It's going off center the other way now. And then hold it tight and take that off the skewer. Ooh, that's really tight on my skewer. Take that off the skewer. Oops, let's see, the other way. Oh goodness, I did that really tightly. Oh, there we go. Okay. And then you can, as long as you hold it tightly, you can just make sure that that is nice and solid. And then I just have school glue here. And then I put a little bit on there. Let that kind of leak over and really get that nice and solid. And there we go. There's your kind of tube bead right there. So those will be the base for our earrings. So now we've got the two beads, and I noticed that, you know, you've got black and you've got red and blue in the image here. So I thought I would take the markers and do kind of just black and blue, and I'm just using the edge of the marker to get the edge of the bead, and it's mostly just to get some of this covered in case it's not fully covered by the end caps. And so I'm just going to do the edges first, and then I'm going to put it on a skewer. I found that was easier for me to do this first, and then get the skewer set up. Like I said, we're going to cover this anyway, so it's not really critical. And you can do any color here. You could leave it white even. I just chose to add color here. And then flip it around and do the other side. Okay. And then I'm literally just going to add just different color, just kind of waves of color. I just want to briefly show you the markers that I was using. They're just acrylic markers. You can use any markers that you happen to have. These I use because they're great for rocks, and I like to paint rocks too. So that's what I used for that. So next we're going to use, I just have a gloss Mod Podge. I like the gloss because it makes it look a little bit more like a bead. And I've already done one here, you see, and I've cut that image out as I showed you in the program. And notice that not a lot of the bead that we colored is actually showing underneath, but that's okay. So we're gonna see, I don't know if you can see that the edge is right there. I'm gonna put this right over the edge to help kind of conceal that. And I'm just gonna take a paintbrush with some Mod Podge on it, and I'm going to paint all over the bead, and keeping it on the skewer actually helps to so you don't get it all over your fingers. And you can just kind of put them in like a, I don't know, like I have a, show you that here, just a piece of styrofoam just to help it dry. All right, so I got my right on that, and I'm going to wrap this around and then wrap this over it, and I need to put obviously more Mod Podge on that, and we're just going to secure that down. Now, like I said, you can use this Mod Podge because it's gloss. You can use that as your kind of top coat if you choose. I actually used a resin over mine. I felt like it gave it a little bit more shine and made it a little bit more durable. So it's totally up to you. If this is what you've got in your supplies, that works perfectly. How cute is that? Look at that. All right, so we're just going to do that. I'm going to leave that in my little styrofoam and let that all dry. You can see this one's just about dry. It doesn't take very long. All right, and then we'll move on to the next part. All right, there they are. They look so sweet. So, like I said, you can just leave them there. But I like the shininess. I don't know if you can see. Let me show you this compared. You can see how shiny that is, and it really makes it look more like glass or ceramic. So, so I am going to add some resin to this. Now, if you've seen any of my other videos, I tend to use this resin. Normally, you would put gloves on. You want to have a nice ventilated space. I'm in a good ventilated space right now. I'm not going to touch it. I'm actually using just a paintbrush, so I'm not worried about gloves right now. And I'm just going to paint it right onto the bead. And don't worry about the edges, the ends. The ends are going to be covered anyway, so no need to worry about that. And then just cover to this bottom one here. Now you'll need the UV light, obviously, for this, if you're choosing to do the resin. If not, just fast forward to the next part. Oh, so cute. And so I've got my lamp here. I'm just going to take it and put it underneath, and I'm just going to turn the beauty of having the skewers. I'm literally just going to turn it underneath the lamp, and I'm going to let it cure for about 3 minutes, just turning it consistently. So I'll come back after that. All right, I just took them off the skewer, and look at those. Aren't those cool? And see how shiny they are? That's why I love using the resin. It really makes them nice and shiny. Now, again, don't worry about the edges because we're going to cover those anyway. All right, we're going to go into actually making the earring now. So now let's just talk about some of the beads that you might want to use. Small beads like this are great. I have bead caps. So that's what this is right here. And that goes over the ends. But I didn't use it for all of them. So like, for example, this one I did. You can see the bead cap and then some small beads. But then this one I did not. So I just used a bead here, and then I had a couple of other beads that, the 3 beads here, there's the 2 here on the bottom, and then this other bead, and then there were 3 on the top as well. And so it depends on what you're looking for with your particular aesthetic. So I've already done one, and I'm going to show you what it looks like here. So I've got 2 beads. I've got a red one and a blue one here. Then we've got the bead that we just made. We've got the bead caps on each end, and then I put another red one on the top there. So that is just cute, cute, cute. All right, so let me just show you how we did that. So I'm going to take, this is the there are, for the jewelry findings, you've got some that have kind of hoops on the end, or hooks on the end, that you could attach a bead to. I chose not to. I actually didn't have any in my stash, so so I'm using this kind. So I'm just adding a bead there, and then the blue one. And the reason I have the small red one is the blue one is actually too big. The hole's too big and it fell through. So you need to just think about that when you're choosing your beads. So that's why I got that like that. And put the bead there like that. So now we're going to put the bead cap, and there's a hole right in the center there. Bead cap right there, and that's going to go through the bottom here. Now you can, I'm going to use hot glue here, but you could use like a gem tack or something like that to secure it a little bit. I'm just going to use some hot glue and just put that up there, and that's mostly to keep that bead cap in place. Okay, there we go. How cute is that? Doesn't that look like a ceramic bead? That's so amazing. I love it. All right, so now we're going to do the opposite on the top. So we're going to put some glue up here, just a little bit, and then we're putting that bead cap on the top. And the bead cap is really, oh, I put it in the wrong hole. Oh, Allison. It's in the wrong hole. Oh, come on. There we go. All right, phew. There we go. So it does cover the top, the bead caps there, and that's why I did that. And then we're going to put that bead on the top like that. So now we're going to, we have the hook for the actual earring, and we're going to take, I have basically jewelry like pliers here, and I'm going to pull that to the side like that. Oh, my light just went out. Okay, and then now you want to be careful because you want them to face the same direction. I don't know if that makes, you know, want the face to face out. So then I'm going to take it, and I'm going to kind of twirl it around. See how I'm making a loop there? And then I want to hook my earring piece in there. And then I'm going to close up that hole. Or close up the, not the hole, but you know what I mean. It's hard to do this. Okay. Don't have quite the right pliers for this. Okay. The bead's getting in the way. Get out of the way. I could glue that bead down, actually. Make it a little bit easier. There we go. Okay. Okay, there we go. And that's it. And we've got these Les Mis earrings. How cute are they? You can see them? That was cute. Imagine if you were going to see the show, or if you were in the show, or something like that. What a great accessory to wear. All right, let me just pull out all of the bead earrings. And here they are. They are so fun. And as you see, so easy to make. And yet they really have quite kind of an impact if you were to wear these out. So I hope you try these. Again, so easy. And I would love to see your earrings that you make. So please feel free to send me pictures. I am happy to respond. I respond to every post below. So feel free to send me a message. Thank you for joining me for this week's Theater Craft, and I will see you next week. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.